Good. Thank you, Jay. That's
Sure.
very good.
Glad this is working out.
Well, we're learning about technology trial by
this is-
fire.
this is-
That's right.
High speed move this morning.
That's exactly right. Good morning or good afternoon. I'm Pearson Crutcher, the Executive Director of the Society of Entrepreneurs. We are so excited to have you here today with Jay Healy and David Andrews. We are trying something new. So technology at its best, we're combining our podcast that we do, the Entrepreneurial Insights podcast, and the Roundtable. So this is a new approach, but this is where we record the beautiful podcast. So when you're listening to them now, you can picture Jay and I and our guests in this wonderful room. And the only thing I want to say before we get into the heart of this interview is thank you to our sponsors, because without them, none of this would be possible. So thank you so much to the people at Paragon Bank who have been our wonderful partner in the Roundtable meetings, behind the scenes, and V2 Media, who also sponsor the Roundtable, and of course, eBiz Solutions. And then I would be really remiss without saying thank you to you, Jay Healy, for sponsoring our podcasts, which has been a great asset. We've just wrapping up all of the recordings for the second season. So I hope that you all have enjoyed them. And if not, it's not too late to start listening. So I want to get this going now. So David, thank you so much for being here. David said yesterday, he's like, you know what? I think we should do this all in one room. So we were like, okay, we're going to figure out how to do that. And by golly, we did. And we will know after we watch the recording how well we did. So
It's going great so far, Pearson.
So far. So David, thank you so much for being here. David was inducted into the Society of Entrepreneurs in 2013 and has since then become one of my absolute favorite members. And I think that you will all enjoy hearing this program. So Jay, I'm going to turn it over to you to get it started.
Sure. Thank you. And I'm glad everybody's here. I'm glad this is working out. So David, the one thing we always like to start with is just hearing your personal background. Where did you grow up? How did you come to Memphis? How did you get the business started?
Jay, that's a big question, but thank you, Pearson, and thank you, Jay, for being here today. And all this is an honor. And, before I get started, the Society of Entrepreneurs was one of my biggest awards that I received. And I was nominated by Hugh Cruz, and he's a great guy, and I appreciate that and all. But I'm from Memphis, lived here all my life.
Right.
Great city, love Memphis. Even though we have operations in other cities and all. But, I worked for my dad for a couple of years and all, and people either work to live or live to work. And I was always a guy that live to work. So I enjoyed what I did, and I still enjoy it. And I tell people that if I could stop enjoying this, I'm going to stop doing this, because it's still fun to me. If you don't enjoy it, you don't do a good job at it. But, went to school at Hillcrest High School, went to University of Memphis and all. And, I think right now Memphis is doing better than it's done in a long time. We certainly have problems that we're working on and all, but we're solving those problems and all.
Mm-hmm.
And business is a big part of my life. We've gone from one employee to over 1,000 employees and all. We're not stopping where we are right now.
Mm-hmm. So tell us the background of the business. How if you're doing an elevator speech to describe it, what would that be?
I started out with one employee. That was myself.
Mm-hmm.
Had a wholesale car business, got in the retail car business, got in the real estate business, got in the new car business, opened up City Auto in 1986.
Okay.
And that was a big start for us. We've been in the same location there for 35 years now. And it's grown from there. We're in the used car business, the new car business, the wholesale business, the auction business. We've got a floor plan company, finance company, leasing company, real estate company. And we like what we do.
Yeah.
The other thing is that I know you've mentioned that, of course, Memphis is your favorite, but you have offices. Can you kind of talk about where else some of your offices are?
Pearson, we operate in 4 states now. Actually, 5 states. We have offices in Chicago, in Columbia, South Carolina, Johnson City, Tennessee, of course, Memphis, Jackson, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, Nashville, and Chattanooga.
Wow, it's a big footprint. That's right.
And somebody's got to go there, and I'm the guy that goes there. And it's it's not like going from here to Summer Avenue. It's a hike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was the initial business? What was who were the customers initially?
Memphis retail car customers.
Okay. And it was used cars you were
Right.
selling at first, right?
And one at a time.
What motivated you to get into that business?
Worked for my dad for a couple of years.
Okay.
And
And
he
I-
had a
and I
car.
was
Did
in-
he have a car dealership
Yeah,
also?
Yeah. And he moved to Cleveland, Mississippi in 73 or 4, and I had to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
So I went in business for myself.
Right.
And I know,
Never wanted to work for a big company like, say Ford or GM and get moved every 2 or 3 years. And it's worked out great.
if I remember correctly, also from back when we were inducting you into the society, the city auto has a different model than a lot of the used car dealerships. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, Pearson, that's a good question. We operate more like a real estate company with independent contractors. And it's kind of unique for a situation, but it works for us. We've been doing that, like I say, now for kind of 35 years. And we're going to keep that model. We've got a location here in Memphis and a location in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
So the people, you have people that work for you, but it's basically like they're renting the space to bring in the cars that they're selling right there. Is that right?
Correct. Just like a real estate agent would or a stockbroker would, if you think about it like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So what was your original vision when you started this? Did you think it would become what it's become?
You never have any idea where you're going to wind up.
Yeah.
The harder you work, the luckier you are.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not through yet. We've added, probably 5 businesses the last couple of years.
Uh-huh.
And you mentioned that you're selling new cars also. What model cars? What are you selling also?
We started this division in August of 2019. We got 7 franchises. We've got 2 Hyundai franchises, a Chevrolet franchise, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Lincoln, and Mitsubishi franchises located in 4 cities.
Wow, that is incredible. That's really cool. So
Yeah.
what would you say is your key driver to success for the companies? What do you think has made your company take off like
That's
that?
a really good answer. The people that help run the company. It's a team effort. I don't, people say, how do you do that? I don't do all this. I have a vision for it, but we do it as a team. I mean, the quarterback doesn't win the game on the football field. It's the whole team that wins.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's your most valuable commodity.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true. So how do you find those people? How do you find the best people?
Keep on looking till you find them. But you look around, you pay attention to people you do business with. You can buy their business or bring them in or hire somebody.
So
It's a full-time job.
do you do a lot of training also for your employees?
Absolutely. Training is key to success.
Very good. One of the things I also know about City Auto is that one of the corporate philosophy is to give back to the community and that y'all do different projects for the community. Can you talk about some of that?
Yeah, I'll be glad to, Pearson. So what we do is a little bit different. Is we challenge each general manager of his division or his company to pick out a charity that they want to support, not what I want to support or what the home office does. Pick out that charity and get them involved in it and all. And our companies do great. Our general manager in Huntsville, Roger Fields, is by far leads the pack and all, but everybody picks a charity at the beginning of the year. They can pick 1, they can pick 2, they can pick 5 if they want to. And they set their budget for that charity, just like they'd set it for their business, how much they're going to raise. And we try to help them raise that and all. But it's been great. ALS is one of our charities, St. Jude, a Bonner, Boys and Girls Club, Boy Scouts. I mean, it's all different across the board. So I think it was 2014, City Auto was awarded the philanthropic award for Memphis, which goes to FedEx and AutoZone and companies like that. And I was really proud of those guys for winning that and all. But we want those companies to invest back in the communities they operate in, not to take the money from Huntsville to Memphis, from Memphis to Huntsville, to help those communities and be a part of those communities and make a difference in those communities.
That's correct.
The government can't do it for us. We've got to do it ourselves.
Yeah, that's cool.
I had heard I was with Pat Lawler at the dinner the other night. And he said, if we worked as hard on crime in Memphis as everybody works on their business, we'd solve this crime problem overnight. And he's right. We've got to work. It's not just up to our elected leaders to solve these problems. We've got to help solve them ourselves too.
Well, I agree with you. I don't think
and helping these kids is part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So was charitable giving always part of your plan, or did it come up over time?
It came up over time.
Yeah.
And it's a big part of the plan now.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you think that really engages your team members?
Some of it does.
Yeah.
Jay, it's across the board.
Uh-huh.
What was the biggest challenge that you faced growing your business?
Getting to know you.
That's not a challenge. That's an asset.
That's an
Okay, yeah,
impossibility.
that's a good thing. So, but did you have any challenges?
Oh, you have challenges every day, but you just forget about them. You solve them. If something bothered me, I try to solve it. So let it bother me. Just do something about it. Whatever it is, whether it's a business problem, whatever it is, one of your employees, just solve it and move on.
How is
Some of them
that?
are big, some of them are small.
How do you do that with companies all over the Southeast, basically? I mean, you have to go there, or I guess Zoom?
I'm zoomed out, but I don't think you solve problems over Zoom. Not a
No.
big problem. I mean, if
Yeah.
it's talking about your sales volume, something like that. But if you got a problem, you got to go there and be on spot to do it.
So you're just always on the go.
A lot, yeah.
Mhm. And how many employees did you say you
About
have currently?
1,050.
Right. So I want to go back a minute and just talk about the journey of building this very large and remarkable company. So here you are, you start just doing used car sales. Did you always have that unique model from the beginning?
No, it's just me.
Okay.
Yeah,
What was the second thing you started to do, and what triggered that?
real estate. My mother's in the
Expansion.
real estate business.
Okay.
I used to paint houses when I was going to college at night. I'd paint all night long, go to class the next morning.
Okay.
You got to eat at the same point in
Oh,
time when
yeah.
you start a business,
Yeah.
Where were you selling your cars? Did you have a little lot? Or?
Yeah, in Whitehaven. Yeah.
Very cool. You remember what the first car you ever sold was?
I think it's a 1967 Chevrolet.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's
That's
So
a long
you-
time ago.
So you expanded into real estate, and that was personal investments, like yeah. What about the expansion of the company? How did that move?
It progressed from, I used to call the company Andrews Motor Company, Jay,
Right.
and I've never been big about putting my name on companies. So I changed the name to City Auto.
Right.
And City Auto became City Auto and City Auto Finance.
Mm-hmm.
And City Auto, then I bought a Ford dealership in 1980 with a partner in Senatobia, Mississippi, and kept it until 2005 and sold it. And I always wanted to get back in the new car business, and a lot of things were going on, so we didn't get back in. The time wasn't right until 2019.
Mm-hmm.
But it went from wholesale car business, retail car business, new car business, floor plan company, finance company. It just grew
Mm-hmm.
as opportunities arose.
And are you always looking for the next opportunity?
Right this minute.
Is
I want to talk to you when we get through here. See what you got going on. I mean, I like to study what people do.
Yeah.
A family office, that really interests me. What
Right.
you do.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Use other people's money.
It's an option sometimes.
That
Yeah.
is right. Very right. What about mentors? Did you have anybody that really helped you, kind of guide you as you were growing your business?
Well, you certainly admire what people do and successful people and all. And when I was in the car business, the Dobbs were a big name in town.
Right.
The Dobbs organization. I remember one year they said they lost $1 million or something like that. And I said, well, they can only last a couple hundred years at that rate. But you admire people. Mr. Jim Ayers, that's the founder and vice chairman of First Bank, was a big guy in my life, and he still is a personal friend of mine and all. He's probably the best human being I know.
Mm.
There was a man named Doug Cruikshank that was a CEO at First Bank. I think a lot of him, but you make friends with people like Hilliard Cruz. I think a lot of him, and you study what these people do and how they react and how they run their businesses, how they treat their employees, and how they treat their community and all. And you listen.
That's great. Yeah, that's very.
So what were some of the most important lessons you learned over time?
Don't do the same stupid. Don't do the same stupid thing twice.
Right. Yeah.
But you can go to college. You can have an MBA or a PhD, and that doesn't teach you how to run a business.
Right.
You got to go out and do it.
Yeah.
And do it every day.
Sure.
And you got to there's cash flow and there's profit.
Mhm.
You got to manage all that. When you're a small business, and our country is run by small businesses and all.
Right.
And these are people that work 18 hours a day, 6 days a week. First 30 years of my life, I worked every Saturday, worked half a day on Sunday after church. First 30 years. I gave up a lot, but I enjoyed doing that. And now I don't work on Sunday anymore. But I'm thinking about business on Sunday. I'll be sitting in church going, I quit thinking about that. I got to think about this sermon. But you think about, business on Saturday. You think about it sitting at the dinner table and all, things you've got to do.
Right. Interesting.
About you never not working, except for, I know one other thing, and I'm kind of jumping around, but I bet you think about that when you're on your daily run, huh?
That's when I forget about it.
Really?
Yeah, when the dog's chasing you, you quit thinking about business, or when you get attacked by an owl at 2:00 in the morning, you stop thinking about it then.
Well, so I want to know, how many days in a row is it that you run now?
Over 18 years. Well, no, I've been running for 40 years, but I haven't missed a day in over 18 years.
Wow.
Not
Wow.
missed a single
That's
day.
phenomenal. Yeah.
That is.
When I had the COVID virus back in December, I had double pneumonia. I got out of the minor emergency room and my wife took me home and she said, "Well, you're not I'm fixing to go run." She said, "You got double pneumonia." I said, "That's not going to stop me from running."
Wow.
You know, the record is 51 years
Uh-huh.
without missing a day. I'm not going to make that. I'll be 105 years old when it comes around.
That's still phenomenal.
Isn't
Yeah.
that an amazing? And that's whenever I think about David, that's what I think about is
Mhm.
that and cars.
No, it's insanity.
Even
Don't
in
ever start.
bad
Yeah.
weather and everything. It doesn't matter.
Tornadoes,
That's dedication.
snowstorms.
Yeah.
One of the things I really like to always ask people is, what's the best decision besides meeting me that you've made along the course of your career?
Well, way back behind meeting you was to invest in our people. You can't do this by yourself.
So what is that? How do you define that? Invest in your people?
Hiring the right people.
Right.
We've got people that work for us for 30 years now.
Mhm.
You know, and when you work that long together, you start thinking alike, and you know what is going to work and what's not going to work.
Mhm.
You know, but invest in your people.
And elaborate on it more. Like, what do you do? What do you feel like is an investment?
The time you spend with them is an investment, Jay. If you
Yeah.
think about that, I mean, you got to spend time with people, work with them. You got to tell them what you want. I tell all of our general managers to give me their top 10 goals for the year.
Right.
You got to have goals. If you don't have goals, I mean,
Mhm.
you don't want to aim too low,
Uh-huh.
you know, but let's set goals up. And if we achieve those 10 goals
Yeah.
for each one of these businesses and all, it will make a profound difference in the way that business performs.
Right.
And so turn them in every month.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. You know, what do we get in? How can I help? How can we help? How can we get the synergy from these businesses working together
Right.
to work better?
Right. So is that something you just learned on your own over time? Is it a
We just came up with that idea.
okay?
You know, have a meeting a Zoom call every Monday morning at 8:00, and everybody gives their numbers for the week. And then we start our week out. And I chaired that call. We started that Monday morning call in March of 2003. And it's worked great for us. We share ideas, share thoughts. It lasts about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's 20 people on that call.
Right.
Everybody's giving their numbers. You don't want that call to last 3 or 4 hours. You know,
Right.
Monday morning, you want to get started to work. We
Sure.
start at 8:00 and we stop at 9:00.
Mm-hmm.
Being aware of people's time and commitments is very
Yeah,
important.
because Monday's
I guess.
morning's your busy time. You know, let's get
Right.
in the mood.
Mhm.
And so were you doing Zoom calls before the pandemic started?
No, we were doing conference calls
Conference
though,
calls, yeah.
but Zoom kind of came about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you could see people too. So
Yeah, you know, where are you? You know, a lot of times people have their camera turned off. And you go like, turn your camera. Where are you?
Yeah.
What else had a significant impact for you this year? Like, did you have to make any significant changes for how the business was run?
Well, when COVID hit,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
we went all digital. I mean, but we never closed down.
Mm-hmm.
The car business was a necessary business and all. We were able to continue operating. I felt really sorry for the hotel business and the restaurants and all, because they were just,
Yeah.
you know, how's it fair for the government to say, you got to shut down,
Mm-hmm.
but keep on paying your people, you know, PPP money, you know, a couple of months pay, that didn't make any difference to a lot of businesses and all. I mean, that was really hard on our economy and all, hard on people and all, but it's time for people to get back to work. We shouldn't be paying people more to stay home than they can make working.
What about COVID? I mean, when it did hit, and you were still open, what did you do? Did you just how did you sell the cars if you couldn't?
Well, in the case of the retail cars, you have to deal with the customer, and we'd deliver cars sometimes, sell them, you know, over email and internet and all, but still customers came in and we sold them cars, and we maintained a really safe environment, social distance at our offices. At our auctions, we did cars by simulcast, which means that the customer stays at his office and bids online on the cars and all. We did that, and it was a big change of business. We were doing some of that, so we didn't just start doing it, but it really increased during COVID. Now people are coming back to the auctions and buying cars.
Will you be able to do it like a hybrid where you have some people that are there and then some people that are bidding online?
Absolutely. Yeah, we were doing that before COVID, but like I say, when COVID hit, the simulcast part of the business really increased. It was 100% of it. It went from 30% to 100%, back down now to about 40%.
So it really did change. It helped. I mean, thank heavens that you already had that system in place. So that's for sure. Do you have any, I know that you said that you're always learning from other people, but do you have any books or podcasts or anything that you really have learned that you enjoy learning from, or anything that you could recommend to our audience for listening or reading?
You know, when I read, the first time I read Good to Great, I thought that was a really great book. And I went and bought, I don't know, 25 copies, and I gave them out.
Yeah.
And a couple weeks I said, have you read the book? No. I said, you need to read a book. That's not a, when you have time, I want you to read that book and see what these people are doing and all. But they're all kind of great. And I've listened to podcasts when in May of the 1st of 2020, when they opened things back up, I started driving instead of flying. First week I drove 1,800 miles, and the second week 1,900 miles, and the third week 3,100 miles.
Wow.
I'm like, this doesn't work for me. The last day I drove from 6 a.m. to 3:37 a.m. I'm like, this is how you get killed. But I'd listen to podcasts I thought one of the best ones I heard was about Peloton, about how they came at the Peloton bike and all. But they're all kind of great. And you just got to see what kind of business you like or what you like to do and just read them. It's great. If you get one idea of that book, Jay, it's worth reading.
I hear you. Yeah. There are so many great resources for entrepreneurs who want to find them. You just got to search and learn.
Yeah, just listen. The lunches that Pearson used to have, they will have again.
Next month we start back in person.
Yeah, they will have again. I mean, that's great just to hear what people have done.
Absolutely.
I mean, you gotta. Not everybody needs to own a business, but the people that do, you can tell. Like when I was at the dinner we had the other night for the new members, I'd go like, because people have to have hobbies, and if you don't have hobbies. And I was listening, I was talking to different guys. What do you do? I said, I work. Well, I work too, but I still have hobbies. I like to run, I like to bike ride, I like to boat ride, I like to play golf. You got to have some other things to do besides just work all the time.
Yeah. But you also got to be committed to work.
Yeah. It's a full-time job.
Yeah.
Let me say this, Jay, I never have to look for something to do.
No, I bet not.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to say to anybody that's watching is if you have a question, please put it in the comments. And we do have people that will help us to read those questions, even though obviously we can't do it right now, but we will be able to answer those questions if you have some. Thank you. Sorry.
That's okay. You can do anything.
Kind of like, I feel like I'm on a commercial or something.
It's a commercial break.
So
exactly.
When we're talking about learning, one of the things we like to ask is if you could give one piece of advice to somebody who's starting a business, what would that be?
You better love it. That's all I can say is you better love it, because it's going to be a big part of your life.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yep. So that's all you would say, though, is you better love it.
Yeah. I mean,
be ready to work.
When you're in business for yourself, Jay, you're the last one that gets paid, and you get what's left over. If you think about it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You're the last one that gets paid.
Yeah.
You're not the first one, you're the last one. And so, there's years that you don't get paid. There's years you have a big paycheck, but it's a long-term investment. But if you're not working for the long term and taking care of your customers, you're not going to succeed. I mean, I've always had to compete against people that were bigger than me, public companies, much better finance than I am.
Right.
You have to outwork them, and you have to give better customer service. But the way I look at our businesses is we're always trying to reinvent ourselves. You can't just stay the same. You got to change with the market, and the market's changing really fast right now.
Right.
With companies like Amazon and Facebook and all that, your advertising changed. We had to run a print ad, I bet, in 20 years.
Right.
So and television's going away, social media is changing things.
Yeah.
You got to be changing every day.
So how do you think about the evolution of there's online car purchases now? How do you manage that?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
You have to compete.
Right.
If you don't, I mean, you'll be like Blockbuster.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
True. That's a good point.
Yeah.
City Auto also, and this is just kind of a random, not having to do with that, but you pay with the price that's on the car, right? There's no negotiation. So that's changed a lot in the car sales too. Or is there some room for negotiation?
No, we can have fixed pricing, and we
Mhm.
lowered those prices as low as we can sell the cars, and we're competitive. And we study the market, so we make sure that our car price is competitive. But as a individual, I like to negotiate, but customers don't like to negotiate, and that takes so much stress. And I started thinking about it. I said, if I went to buy a suit at Oak Hall or Dillard's or somewhere like that, and I had to go in and negotiate every time, I wouldn't
Oh, yeah.
like doing that, even though I
Mhm.
like to negotiate. Like if you're buying a house or something big like that, people will negotiate things like that and all. But customers come in and they like to think they got a really fair deal, and they do.
Mhm.
And if they're not happy with the car, we give them their money back, and not have to negotiate. Take that part of the stress out of the transaction.
That is good.
Yeah.
So that you just know, and then it makes it easier to be able to do it online too, because you can really
Yeah.
look at the
Yeah,
prices.
I mean, our website at City Auto gets about 70,000 unique visitors a month.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
like 70,000 customers driving in,
Yeah.
parking their car, coming inside, looking at cars.
Well, and the other thing is they can do it on their own time. I mean, so
24 hours a day.
That's right.
Yeah.
That
And you
makes
can
sense.
buy cars on our auction website. We got a digital marketplace. It's open 365 days a year.
Wow,
Yeah, cool.
that's really cool.
And were you early in that online process or catching up?
We weren't first, Jay, but
Yeah.
we're ahead of the pack.
Okay, good for you.
That is
And it takes money to invest in doing those
Yeah.
things like that too. They don't just happen.
Mhm.
right. Websites can be expensive, and especially one that you have to keep updating all the time.
It
I'm
changes
sure.
every day.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, if you could go back in time to that kid at Hillcrest, would you give yourself any advice or to say that you wish that you'd done something differently?
Yeah, I wish I'd bought Apple stock at $2 a share. I could pick you a couple other stocks too. I wish I'd have bought.
Yeah, sure.
Me
I'd
too.
have been a stock investor instead of a used car salesman.
Uh-huh.
That's-
What
That's
what
true.
about specifically for running the company though?
I've enjoyed. I mean, it's been some really challenging times, Jay,
Mhm.
but I've really enjoyed doing this.
Mhm.
I really wouldn't change anything. I mean, I wish I had grown our business more faster, but I grew it as fast as
Sure.
my capital would allow me to. I didn't take on any, hedge funds as business partners and all. And I
Right.
didn't need somebody to call me and ask me what time I got to work on Monday morning.
Mhm.
And I've made a decent living doing it, and I plan on continuing to do that.
Right.
Well, we do have a few questions, and so I will start with some of these. Why was Memphis the right place to start your business?
That's just where I was. If I do have one regret. I mean, we've got companies in other cities now. I wish I'd have spent some time in Europe or in Australia and worked like that and known a different culture. And I don't think it's too late for that. I mean, my wife might not hear that, but if I had an opportunity to have a business in, like you're talking about, Costa Rica or somewhere like that, I'd give it a shot.
Uh-huh. Sure.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
They,
Give you another
they use
good-
cars
could-
everywhere.
You
That's
could open up
exact-
a branch of Society of Entrepreneurs there.
Yeah.
in Costa Rica. That'd be fun. Let's
Yeah,
go. Let's do
yeah.
it. So, and then how did you decide? You said that you're the cities that you're in. How did you decide which cities to go to?
I was looking for opportunities, and the other cities that we operate in besides Murfreesboro are auctions, and where you can have 4 or 5 dealerships in one town. You can't have 4 or 5 auctions in one town. So we had to go outside of Memphis and all. So in the auction division, we started in Memphis, went to Huntsville, went to Murfreesboro, went to Mobile, then Chattanooga, then Jackson, Mississippi, and Johnson City, and now Columbia, South Carolina. So we're trying to expand our footprint.
So those are all auctions.
Mhm.
So, and you started them or you bought them in those areas?
We bought 6 out of the 8, and we started the other 2.
Gotcha. Very good.
Yeah.
So I didn't.
And
did
then
you-
we've got a business. This is kind of a funny story. We've got a business in Chicago. It's a logistics company. And I'll call our business partner in January in Chicago. What's going on? Well, it's minus 26. I said, I don't care. You choose to live there. You've been offered to move to Nashville anytime you want to, or Memphis, wherever you want to, We got 8 inches of snow. I said, We got sunny and 75.
Come on down.
Yeah, really.
And then what's ahead for your business? What other things are you interested in investing in? You going to stay in cars?
Just have to see what's on the horizon. You know, we're going to kick over a few stones and see. But I mean, we like what we do. We don't have any business we want to get rid of and all. And we have people call and try to buy various businesses and all. But we've got a lot of time invested in those. But, you know, if an opportunity arises that's not in what we do, we would look at it just like a family office does.
Mhm. Sure. I understand.
And then what differentiates City Auto and other businesses? Was it this way from the start, or has your value proposition changed or evolved over the years?
I think our proposition, our value has gotten better. And I remember back in about 2005, I told Stan Norton, who's our business manager partner at City Auto, I said, I want you to have every customer send them a customer satisfaction survey at City Auto. He said, oh, we shouldn't do that. I said, yeah, we got to do that. We got to know if our customers are happy, if they're going to come back. And about 60% of our business now is repeat business. But if you're not taking care of your Walmart, that's not what you want to be special.
Mm-hmm.
Business. How do you, when you're looking at new opportunities, what kind of things do you look at and judge before you decide whether you're going to jump on in?
If the market's right and if we have the capital to do it. I mean, we would have grown a lot faster if I'd have had, my parents have been multimillionaires, you know, if I could have taken over the business from here going forward and all, but you got to do you got to have a budget and you got to have the cash flow to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And the capital to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
capital drives the world. That's
yeah, there's a lot of businesses that people are doing it because they love doing it, but it's not scalable.
That's true too. Yeah. And so this is kind of an inside baseball question, but as you needed capital, did you reinvest your profits? Did you take on debt? Did you?
All the above.
Right. Okay.
You know, borrowed, Aristotle Onassis had 3 ideas about how to be successful.
Uh-huh.
Always borrow all the money you can.
Uh-huh.
Always pay it back on time, and always have a good suntan. But you got to pay. You got to pay on time, and we are very open with our lenders about what we're doing.
Uh-huh.
I meet with them on a monthly basis.
Right, and that's the car business. To maintain your inventory, you always have to have.
Yeah, it's a capital-intensive business. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Uh-huh.
Did you suffer any, like, I know in the Great Recession was really hard for the car business. Did that hurt you as well?
You know, when in October 2008, and that's when the recession was hitting, gas got to $4.25 a gallon, whatever, all, and unemployment was going up and interest rates were going up and all. And I got together with my guys and they said, what are we going to do? I said, we're going to double our advertising.
Mm-hmm.
Their eyes got big as saucers. We doubled our advertising and people quit buying new cars.
New cars, that's right.
Started buying used cars, and our business
rocked.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I bet.
We went on the offense instead of the defense. So we were certainly watching our expenses.
Yeah.
But double the advertising. Let's go. Let's don't wait on them. Let's show what we can do.
That's good advice. Go on the offense rather than the defense.
Exactly.
You got to stay on the offense.
Yeah.
So if you had a crystal ball, what would you see? Where would David Andrews be in 10? What will you be doing in 10 years?
I'm going to give another podcast.
He'll be running.
He'll be running.
I hope I'm running too.
Here to do another podcast.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. No, I mean, I plan on doing what I'm doing as long as my health is good. I think it's great right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of Orange Theory. I go at 5:00 in the morning. You can start going with me.
All right. That sounds good.
Beth could start going.
So you go to Orange Theory and you run every day?
Mm-hmm.
How many hours a day do you exercise?
No, when I go, let me take that back. When I go to Orange Theory, that counts as my run because they have treadmills there.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. I'll give you that. That sounds all right. I'll let you count that for your daily.
So one of the questions we always ask is, and I think I know the answer, do you think entrepreneurs can be taught, or are they born with that
Man,
spirit?
I think they're born.
Yeah, that was the answer I
I
expected.
expected that as well.
But here's what I believe.
Yeah,
That no matter what goes wrong with this company, even if I didn't do it, even if it's happening right now in Huntsville or Chattanooga, wherever, I'm responsible for that, Jay.
Sure,
That's
yeah.
my fault.
hmm
Whatever it is.
You get the
I get-
upside and the downside.
Yeah, I get all of it, but
Right.
but it's my responsibility.
Yeah.
If we have a accident, whatever, it's my responsibility.
hmm
Yeah, the buck stops with
Yeah.
you, doesn't it?
Yeah, and safety. I mean, we preach safety at all
Uh-huh.
operations.
Yeah. Well, one thing that we like to do when we're talking about the podcast is talk about Memphis because that's where we are.
Yeah.
So what excites you about Memphis today?
I just think Memphis is doing so much better than it was even 10 years ago. I like the way downtown is revitalizing the new hotel where number one Bill was going in and all the development down there. Right now, our construction company, we've got 3 subdivisions going with houses going. I was told yesterday that D.R. Horton's coming in and building 400 houses and all. This is good for our city. These are affordable houses that people can afford to buy.
I didn't know
You
that you
know-
were doing houses. Where are the neighborhoods?
We've got a Midtown development, one on Perkins and one in Arlington.
Wow, I did not even know
You want to buy a
that.
house?
Yeah, maybe so.
Trade your car in.
Always working a deal, aren't you, David? So, did Memphis being in Memphis have any? Did it help with the success of your business?
I think so. And I'll tell you why, where a lot of cities would have these giant takeoffs and then they'd crash and then it'd take off again. Memphis
Yeah.
is just kind of smooth. I mean, you have little ups and downs and all, but nothing major as far as, I mean, even during the recessions, we stayed in business.
Yeah.
Mhm. So the other thing is that, and you think you've kind of touched on this, but why do you think it is important to give back to the city?
Because I think that's what you're supposed to do.
Mm.
I mean, we're blessed. We're sitting here. We're safe here. Nobody's hungry in this room. You're not going to go. You're not homeless. I mean, we've got a lot to be thankful for.
That's true. Yeah.
Mhm.
And the more that we can do, the more that we can give back. And I think about this a lot. This is something that just occurred to me just recently. If everybody on this earth left this world just 1% better than they found it, what would it be like?
Mm.
Quit taking, start giving.
It's more good advice.
Mhm.
I mean, really, if everybody left it 1/10 of 1%
Yeah,
better,
sure.
Yeah. And it wouldn't be that hard to do, would it, if
No.
you're not talking
Yeah.
about huge
but I mean,
changes?
the people that need help, we need to help them, but we need to help them get going, not take care of them.
Mhm. Teach them how to fish.
Teach them how to fish. I was
Mhm.
thinking about, I wasn't going to say that. I'll let you say it.
Yeah, I think- So what do you think about, I mean, well, I think you've already covered Memphis pretty much, but
Well, let me say this. I
Okay.
think Mayor Strickland's doing a great job. It's a big job. I mean, he's gotten our roads are in better shape. I mean, they're working on the crime and all. Pat Lawler's working hard on the crime and all. I mean, there's a lot of good things going on in Memphis. This is the best I've seen Memphis do, really, in maybe the last 20 years.
Yeah.
I would agree.
I think one of the cool things about Memphis is that the successful entrepreneurs are committed to making the city better themselves. So all the charitable organizations a lot of them are funded by the gifts from successful entrepreneurs. And that's
Sure.
just, it's a wonderful example to see.
Yeah, yeah, I mean,
Motivates a
and
lot
you-
of other people along the way.
And you don't realize how many people are given until you
Yeah.
hear about it.
sure,
I mean,
sure.
it's just kind of under radar.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And a lot of people choose to give that way, that they're
Yeah.
doing it and they don't want the accolades, but they feel like it's important. So
Yeah.
I think that's great. So is there anything else about the COVID, the year that we've just gone through that you would say changed the way you do business personally, professionally, or anything else?
That's a good question, Pearson. You never know what it's going to be like when you get up in the morning. The bridge out, the Mississippi Bridge. Who would ever thought
Yeah,
that?
for real.
I mean, nobody in this room, that bridge is out. It may be out for 3 or 4 months. They want to let barge traffic come down. That changes the dynamics of everything. We
Yeah.
can't get cars in from Arkansas to our auction. We got to figure that out. I mean, and that's a small problem compared to COVID. Who would ever thought?
Right.
When I heard pandemic shelter at home, I thought, what the heck are they talking about? Really? Stay at home? That's not going to work. Not for long. We didn't qualify for the PPP money. Had too many employees. So, you know, if you had over 500 employees. So we were out on that. I mean, we were just on our own.
Well, I didn't realize that if you had too many employees, you didn't qualify either. I don't know why I didn't realize that. But I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
So,
So, I mean,
just
so
it's
every
the
day's-
year of the pivot, right?
Every day's different. I mean, there's another recession. I mean, they're going to come and go.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
sure.
I've never seen the government pumping as much money,
Right.
the stimulus as they are right now. And there's going to be a hangover from that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just been remarkable to see how every business, not every business, but most businesses have been able to adapt, right? So, you know, given these,
You adapt or you die.
right,
Yep.
Yeah.
That is
and
true.
that forces everybody to adapt.
You know, but I'll say this, during this pandemic and all, the banks took a complete different stand than they did in 2008. In 2008, it was put up or shut up.
Right.
And I mean, everybody's stuck in together right now. And I think we did a great job getting through this.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I think we did all unite. So,
Mhm.
what do you like to do for fun personally outside of the office, which I know you love to work? We've already
Outside of
talked
hanging
about.
out with you.
Well, of course, hanging out with me is the number one, and Marianne and Kelly. So,
Yeah.
but
Outside of running 18 years in a row.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like to play golf. I like to boat ride. I like to bike ride. Read a little bit. You know, I have to read a lot with the work I do. You know, but I read business books.
it's cool. So, and exercise.
Yeah.
It works for me.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finding what works for you is
Yeah.
the important part.
I'll tell you one
Because
thing.
what works, you know, it doesn't work. What works for you doesn't necessarily work for everybody, but you got to find what works for you.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing that I have learned, and this is nothing to the business, but I always want to be able to play the guitar. And I've probably got about 5 guitars now. But if
Uh-huh.
you don't know how to play them, you could have 1,000 of them and it wouldn't do you any good. You got to learn how to do it.
Did you come up with a hobby during COVID?
Staying alive.
Yeah.
I had, you know, COVID, I kind of thought that was a joke.
Uh-huh.
I've never had the flu. I thought, I won't get COVID. I got it. And my wife had, and I were diagnosed positive at the same time.
Uh-huh.
She never had any symptoms,
Really?
but her doctor put her on steroids and antibiotics the first day. My doctor put me on Tylenol, and Tylenol didn't work. And I developed double COVID pneumonia.
Mm,
And 30% of the people that get COVID become long haulers
mhm.
and have long-term respiratory, heart, and neurological problems.
Right.
And I dodged that. So I feel really blessed after
Yeah.
having double COVID pneumonia.
And
to
How long were
me-
you sick?
Oh man, I was sick for 3 weeks.
I'm very, very glad that you're okay.
Really.
So this is kind of a tricky question. I'm going to ask you this. You have to think about it on the spot. What are 3 things that you could not live without?
My cell phone, my
Mhm.
wife, I should have said it backwards. My wife, my cell phone, and my faith in God.
Those are good answers. So is there anything about you that people, that our listeners would be surprised to know about you? I kind of blew it when I gave away the 18
Yes.
years of running.
Yeah.
So you're an open book.
I try to be.
I
I like what I do.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Very good. Well, I don't, do we have any other questions? I don't think we do, because I can't see that far to see the computer. So, but this has been so much fun, David. Every time I'm with you, I just smile. We just have such a good time. And
Yeah.
so I think
And
that
Jay, thanks for putting this on in your office. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
Yeah, sure.
it's
Glad
a-
to
it's
have
a-
you all
it's-
here.
It's a great
Y'all,
place.
a lot goes into doing, you know, if you think about what you do before the annual dinner comes off, there's a lot that has to happen for that to happen right. A lot has to happen before this, or your business all. Before we sell a car, a lot's got to happen all. So thank you for what you do.
Well, thank you. It's
Yeah.
my pleasure.
Before we started, I said, you're the glue that holds the society together. And I appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very fortunate to have such wonderful members. That's for sure. It's a pleasure. It's nice to love what you do every
is.
single day, you
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah.
it really is. So we appreciate this very much. Next month will be June the 10th, and we are going to be in person. I'm very excited about that. Not that Zoom is not great, but it sure is nice to be able to see smiling faces, and that if you have questions, you can raise your hand and I can call on you, and not doing it over the computer. But we are June 10th. We're going to be, Jay Myers is going to be speaking. He's written a third book and he's going to talk about that book. So should be a lot of fun. So we hope that all of you can join us for that. David, thanks again. This has been really fun. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you. On June the 10th, what's the location?
Crescent Club. I'm
That'd be a great place to
Yes.
have it.
I'm almost 100% sure. I've not gotten the final call back, but that is the plan. So,
Okay.
yeah. So
Sounds
Thank you
good.
very
we'll
much.
hope you'll be here for it.
Absolutely.
I'll be here.
Thank you
All
very
right,
much,
that
David.
sounds good. Thank you very much. We exited?